Correct. Sensors.
And then now is it telling you how to place the low back ones on?
Now I'm like this.
Press next.
This one.
Perfect. Okay, so you can put the iPad down. Now, all of these directions are in it. It's very detailed, but I'm going to kind of tell you step by step. So you're going to grab 2 of the low back fitting DAPs.
2 low backs.
Okay. So you're going to find the green and the blue flashing sensor. The blue and the purple are hard to decipher. Those on the low back fitting DAP. So remember, they're just going to fit horizontally on there.
So it looks like this thing. There's a little like break.
Yep. You'll take the top part. The top part's going to be like the smaller on the plastic ridge. Like in the middle of it.
Yeah.
Then place the green and blue sensors on those.
Mm-hmm. And blue. So now we look like this.
Awesome. Perfect. So now you're going to make on, did you say it's Grace?
Yes.
Okay. So now you're going to find her PSIS and make 2 marks and a line in between them. Just let me know when you have that.
You're gonna get some tattoos today. Here and here.
And Brittany, if this is the case in any training where you can't see their screen, like I said, I would just pull open the app and just kind of follow along. Like I just have it memorized at this point, but that's going to be the easiest way. That's how I learned. You're going to find the green flashing sensor. The green flashing light will face down, and you're going to peel the back of the adhesive off, and it's going to go below the line you drew with the spine intersecting the middle of the sensor. So flashing light goes down, and it goes below the line you drew. Okay.
And below intersecting. Okay.
Now you're going to grab the back fitting template,
Back
fit
fitting.
it over top of the sensor. Make sure she stands up. And you're going to draw a line at where her like height range is.
I thought you said one. She is 5'3". I need to go on the 5'3" line.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, so now the blue flashing sensor is going to face up and it's going to go above the line.
Blue flashing sensor going to face up and above.
So I think low back, everything is down and below. Upper back, everything above and up. Okay. So now you're going to press next on the screen. And then the next screen, you'll see like a serial number with the flashing light. So that's just there to verify if you want to make sure that you have the correct serial numbers on. If you feel good about it, you can just press next through it. Now you're going to do the shins. So what I would do with the shins is I would make the marks first on their shins. So grab the tibial template, find their inferior edge of the medial malleolus, and then make a mark on their height. And remember, they can sit down or stand up. I would just keep it consistent from person to person, however you're doing that. Okay. So you'll just do that for her. Yep.
You know that? 166 centimeters and below, but the 5'6", it doesn't say anything about being below.
That's okay. Just go ahead and, yeah, just do the 5'6" marker.
Perfect.
Okay, so now you're going to grab 2 adhesives, and you should have a purple flashing sensor and a white flashing sensor.
Yes.
I always grab the white one first because I remember white goes on right.
So I stick it on the sticky side when I peel it off.
Exactly. Yep, just make sure it lines up with it. And then once you have the white sensor, let me know.
White one is attached to the little sticky.
Okay, so now you're going to place the sensor on the tibia. It's going to go vertically with the light flashing up, and the line is going to intersect the middle of the sensor. Okay. So making sure it's on the tibia, vertical, light up, line intersects the sensor.
Use extra bells for that. No, I know. And did it intersect? Yes, I just didn't draw a long line.
And then you'll do the exact same thing with the purple. Vertical, light up, middle line goes in, or I'm sorry, line goes in the middle of the sensor.
Perfect.
Awesome. Then you're going to say sensors attached. And then it's confirming with the serial numbers. All looks good. Press next. And then you should see the plank instructions pop up. Do you see that?
Yeah, so it's like calibration.
Oh, okay, sorry. So have her stand straight, don't move. Then you'll press start calibration. And then what's the number that you see on next to the lumbar lordosis?
-31.
So that's your first check-in. So negative number, it means extension. Okay, so if it's a positive number, we've placed the sensors incorrectly. So negative, she should be standing up. She should be starting an extension. Up at the top right, before you press finish calibration, you see the Bluetooth signal up at the top right?
Yes, that's mine.
Yeah, go ahead and click on that. So that's going to be your connection for each sensor. Now you guys have a 9th or 10th generation iPad, so your Bluetooth should be really good. But the way that we can interfere with that signal, so it's going to go like green. Yeah, so I love that. That's green. It's going to go from green to yellow to red. Okay, so if you see a red, couple things that you can try. You're going to move your hands from the corners of the iPads. Okay, the corners of the iPads, that's where our Bluetooth antenna are. So you'll want to move your hands in. The other thing is you may be too far away from the subject. So it's going to kind of tell you to like move closer to the subject. But if you're seeing green, you should be good to go. Yellow, also you should be good to go. Red, that's just when you want to make like a kind of a movement. Any questions so far?
No, I think we are good.
Finish calibration and let's get into this.
Your camera, I would say okay.
Yep.
Oh man, that looks fancy.
Okay, so as far as like the video capture goes, if there's any way for us to be able to kind of like go behind you and see your screen plus the person, that would be ideal.
Yeah, let's see what we're gonna do. I'm gonna move a table.
Okay. Brittany, do you have any questions so far? Or you feel good?
No, I feel good.
Okay.
I have written down a couple questions that we can go over at a different time.
Over? Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so what we're going to do is you're going to read the instructions first, and then I'll kind of give you tips and tricks for each one. Okay?
Man, that thing's real sensitive. Okay. So hold plank with forearms with palms flat, toes and heels touching for 60 seconds without moving. If you move, you must try to continue to hold the plank for full 60 seconds.
Okay, perfect. And just with the Bluetooth signal, if it goes to yellow, it's totally fine.
Okay.
Okay, so for the plank, you very similar to movement suite, you're gonna put them in the correct position. Okay, so you put them in the perfect plank position. As they're going through the plank, they're going to be gaining points. So you want to make sure you're starting with a flat back, their feet are together on their forearms. Okay, if they deviate outside of 8 degrees for longer than 2 seconds, it will knock them a point.
Okay.
So I usually will bring the iPad over, put the iPad down, physically put my hands on the patient. And then once they're in that good position, I'll press start. Okay.
Okay.
You can go ahead and close out of the instructions.
Is it supposed to be like, why is the camera flipped the wrong way?
What if you flip your iPad like the other way?
It doesn't.
No, I'm sorry. Keep going. One more. Turn it all the way.
She is, oh gosh, where's the camera? She's still sideways.
We might just look into your camera settings, but let's just keep cruising for training.
So, you go ahead. Two of us. Can I, like, no, elbows. Palms down.
Whenever she's in that, you'll just press start. Awesome.
Does it close it on its own for me?
Yeah, so you'll see the timer at the top. It'll say like whatever out of 60 seconds. If she maintains that, it'll automatically close. If she does
Okay.
not and she drops her hips or drops her knees, that's going to be a failed.
Okay. Yeah, 25 seconds, Chris. You got it. Just keep breathing. Keep your core. Trying to get the glare off from our thing so you guys can see this better, but
You're good. And you're very kind for holding it that way. You can be comfortable with it. If we'll make sure that we see the screen. Okay.
we have a counter in the middle of our clinic that I'm just leaning on and holding it, so not a problem. Chris, you have 5 seconds. You got it.
Yeah, some customers have used like tripods or even like the cases where you have the stand.
Okay. Oh, so it goes right to it.
So now it's going to show you the data tracings. So it's going to show you the score. Just to continue to like cruise through it, I would press the green button at the bottom right, save and continue, and you're going to go to double leg squat next. So go ahead and read this, and I'll give you kind of tips and tricks here.
Okay. Even though you're kind of sideways. So face away from the tester, squat parallel or 90 degrees, moving in a controlled way. Repeat 20 times. Wait for the tester to cue you each time.
So on the double leg squat, I usually will say like, I don't care how you set up for your squat, feet wide, whatever it turned out, whatever you're comfortable doing in the weight room. Now, as far as the testing piece goes, so for the movement suite, you have the ability to have the capture windows and then also the ability to go back and change that. On this system, you do not have the ability to go back and correct it.
Oh no.
But you do have redo rep. Okay.
Okay.
So all it is you just have to be intentional with the way that you're pressing start and stop. Okay. So what's going to happen is you'll press start. That button will turn to the word stop. That's your cue to tell her to squat. So once you see stop, you'll say squat. She'll squat down. She'll come all the way back up straight. And then you'll press stop. But you don't cue her to squat until you see that word stop because you want to capture that entire bell curve. Okay.
I'm gonna say go because it squats weird and I always say go.
Yep. Whatever you want to do. I used to say go too. Brittany, that's like the most important piece for any of the reps here.
Go. 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 Hey, Stacy. Go.
This angle of the camera is kind of nice, but we'll just double check and see if we can switch that around. I have a call with my tour guys too.
Go. Go. Go.
One more.
Go.
Yeah. Perfect. Okay, so now this screen is going to take the longest. But usually it'll just like go quick. What this is going to do is it's going to show you your data tracing. So there's going to be a reference pattern. You just want to make sure you captured what you needed to capture here. So that's all we're checking on this screen. Okay, but this is the longest screen to digest for the system. Okay, good data tracing. So you see how like the first one, maybe we didn't capture, but like then you got into it a little bit better. So if you click onto the screen and scroll, like to the left, yeah, you're able to check your data tracings. So you just want to make sure that we're capturing that entire bell curve. So like on rep, like that rep,
Yeah.
we would just kind of take that one with a grain of salt. Cool. All right. But that's why we're here. That's why we're doing it. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So
So
then
continue.
continue.
Yep.
All right, back to the table.
Side plank.
Side plank. You're going to hold a side plank with your right elbow. So there's a good question. What happens whenever she accidentally kicks one of her sensors off in the middle of the thing?
Just put it back on. All good.
Okay.
Yep. Just make sure, is it on the shin one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. I would just say like with the shins, I usually pre-wrap them on.
Okay. Can I still use the movement, the ankle, what are those things called, shin sleeves from the last one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so go ahead and read side plank off.
Hold the side plank on your right elbow with shoulders, hips, and feet aligned. Left hand on your hip. That's what that says, right?
Yeah, it's supposed to be hand.
Yeah.
Left hand.
Left hand on your hip without moving. If you do move, you must try to hold the plank for a full 60 seconds. Man, I have read some emails this past week that have had missing words and stuff, so I was like, I must really can't read.
Nope, it's
So-
okay. You think it's this thing. Okay, so on this one again, you're going to have them start in the perfect position. So feet stacked, left hand on hip. Once they're in that position, you're going to press start.
You got it. Do your best. Show off for them. Yeah, well, I left on a to-do list this morning and I spelled 90% of the words wrong. Yep, you got it. Halfway there. It's not showing iPad. Sorry. 20 more seconds. Keep breathing, please. It's vital to living. 10 seconds. Okay, this isn't my strong suit either. You got it. Hold on. Go back up.
So now you're just gonna press failed. Perfect. So then it automatically closes it for you. And then once you see the data tracings, let me just see those real quick. Okay. 25 out of 30. Okay. Save and continue. Looks good. Other side.
Side plank. You got it. And then you're done with planks for the day. For the week, if you want to be done. All right. Bring your elbow in just a little bit more. There you go. All right. Go up. Same rules apply. I didn't read you the directions, but you got it. You're already 10 seconds in. Well, because I'm making you do this in front of people you don't know, and I'm making you do this. Lower your butt just a little. There you go. No, lower your bottom. Halfway. Actually, you're over halfway because I was watching time click. Okay. You got it. Only 15 seconds left. Done.
Perfect.
You got it. Now only single leg things. Yeah, she was not good on this side compared to her. That's
All
okay.
good. Okay, save and continue, and let's go into the single leg squat on the right. So now you don't have to do anything with the sensors.
You know how nice that is that I don't have to use them?
Isn't that nice?
Oh, yeah. All right. Does it matter if they face me or face away?
So I'm gonna have her face you.
Okay. Ooh, that way a little bit.
So go ahead and read off the directions.
Start in a single leg stance on your right with your right knee straight, left knee bent with the foot behind you. Squat down as far as you can without your heel coming up, moving in a controlled way without your left foot touching the ground. Repeat 10 times. Yeah.
Perfect. So she's gonna start with her legs straight. Same thing with the capture for you. You're gonna press start, wait for that button to turn stop, cue her to go. When she comes up and she's straight and still, that's when you press stop. So just give yourself like a little beat when she's up and still. Okay. If she
Right.
presses or if she loses her balance, touches the ground, grabs onto anything, yep, you're gonna hit loss of balance first and then stop. Okay. And then you also have the ability to redo a rep if you need to. Okay.
All right, you ready? Go. 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 I don't know the answer to that. Go. Awesome in a moment. Go. Don't carry your ACL while we're doing that. Go. Yeah. Go.
Work comp.
No, I'll just buy her lunch. Go. Just kidding. She was voluntold she was doing this too.
I love it.
Go.
I always think it's a good idea to do it if you're gonna have your patients do it.
Go. It's okay. You already look like a hot mess on that one, so. Go.
So in that case, could we have pressed redo rep?
I could have.
Yeah, but if she looks like a hot mess on that, like I want to know.
You want to see it, yeah.
Yeah, I want to see all that.
Sure.
She's rethinking life and her workout plans after this.
Her life and her choices. All right.
Yeah.
Good.
She looks
caption.
good until
That is
that.
And what's her score on that? Or like what's her
60 out or 16 out of 60.
Oh, what's her valgus varus motion on that one?
On the bad one,
Yeah.
negative 20.9.
Okay, so negative valgus. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But
Save and
everything
continue.
else, she's hovering around like the 8 to 10
Okay.
and some
Yeah,
12s.
so like that's where it's up to you guys. Like if you feel like you want to redo that rep, but like to me, I'm like that she has the potential to go into that. I want to see it.
Yeah.
Okay, save and continue. Now we're gonna go to single leg hop.
Start in a single leg stance. Right with your right knee straight. Left knee bent with the foot behind you. Hop straight up as high as you can. Control the landing. Repeat 10 times with your left without your left foot touching the ground.
Okay, so same thing on this one. Start, stop, wait for that button to turn stop. If she jumps, lands, and has to take multiple hops, I want to capture all of that until she's straight and still because we have that pelvic data now, right?
Okay.
If she takes multiple hops to gain her balance, it's not a loss of balance unless she touches the ground or onto something.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, ready? Go. 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 Good job.
Nice. Hop to plant, last hard one on the right.
3.
And then you get to do it on one.
Yeah.
And even now.
Kind of look like a hot mess at times, but I assume we're still looking for like the bunny ears.
Exactly. So that first bell curve is going to be her loading. The second
Yep.
bell curve is going to be the landing piece. Our
Okay.
metrics come off the second bell curve.
Okay.
So all the landing. Okay.
Okay.
So again, I want to capture all that until she's straight and still.
Okay.
Save and
Okay.
continue. And then hop to plant. And I'll kind of talk you through this one too.
All right. So leg stance on the right with your right knee straight. Left knee bent with the foot behind you. In this position, you will hop forward, backwards, oops, in upon the tester's cue for each direction individually. We'll repeat the sequence twice for a total of 8 hops. I will always point what direction you need to go. That way you know what to do too.
So you're going to capture each individual rep, very similar to hitting the space bar, right? So it's going to be
Mhm.
straight leg, start, wait for that to turn stop, hop forward, stop, hop back, press
Right.
start, hop backwards, outside to the right, inside to the left, and then redo it twice.
Okay. Ready? Forward. Backwards. Open.
And Brittany, she's really proficient because she's used the movements system before. So you may have to explain that a little bit more in detail with people.
Forward. Backwards. Good. Outside. Inside.
Awesome.
Okay.
Now we're just checking your data tracings again. These always look funky because no one does these like perfectly, right?
Right. And if they didn't, they can be-
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, not terrible for her.
No, and your capture, the main point of that is like just checking your capture. That all looks good. Well done.
Thank you.
Will you read me off some of those, just like some of those metrics real quick? I just want
Like her very strongest.
to, yeah, just read off all those really quickly.
So that one is negative 6.27. The speed is 164.4.
Okay.
Pelvis lateral flexion is negative 8.99. Tibial inclination is 36.51. No loss of balance, score of 4 out of 6.
Perfect. I just want to make sure that those are within range. So pretty good. Save and continue. Now we're on ankle lunge.
Kneel. So you're gonna kneel on your left knee with your right leg in front, knee and ankle at 90 degrees with your foot flat. You will lean forward so your right knee is as far over your foot as possible without lifting your heel off the ground. You're gonna hold for 10 seconds, 3 times on the tester scale. Face that way for me, just so. you can see
Okay, so the
that.
main
Something
piece,
for under your knee, Grace. Picture.
Yeah.
Kind of.
main piece here is just making sure you're starting them at 90 degrees in their ankle and between each rep. Okay.
Oh.
You're gonna press start. You're not waiting for stop. So you're just gonna press start and cue them to go, shift forward without letting their heel pop up. And this is gonna be timed, so it'll automatically close.
All right. You cannot let your heel come off the ground when you lean forward.
Go.
So
Yeah. So any of the timed ones, you don't have to wait for that to stop.
yeah. And this camera thing is weird.
Mhm.
But it's kind of, yeah, I'm gonna talk to
It's
my
not, but when she lunges forward, I can't figure out which way I need to
which way you need to go.
go.
It is nice for like the single leg hops and stuff like that, but I'll talk to my team or we'll just kind of look into your camera settings and see if we can do anything.
Um,
Now, the good thing, the camera is obviously not impacting the score, but
right. Feel back just a little bit. There you go. Okay. Relax. You are off the chart on that one. Yeah, you did so well that the
Awesome.
little graphy thing didn't cover you.
great capture there. So save and continue. Now you guys are going to the left side. You're going to do that, cruise through it like we're not here.
All right, single leg squat. That leg's gonna be up. Even though I know what they say. One of us is over your squat. Just as far as you can control.
Great answer.
Okay. 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 Also, you will be sore tomorrow. Go. 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 Okay. Go. 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 Good. Relax. I'm gonna look at this, but next we're single leg hops. Just to mentally prepare yourself for those.
Get your mind right. Great capture. Capture looks awesome.
And that actually looks good.
I was gonna ask if she felt more comfortable. Like,
Yeah.
where is the pelvis? Where do we want the pelvis at? Like, what degree is normal?
So 10 degrees.
10 degrees is normal.
Mm-hmm. But remember, like the speed is the highest. So what's her speed here?
Our speed is 29.72, 17.6, 30.55.
Yeah.
So kind of all over the board.
So that's where it's going to be docking her the most points.
Okay.
And so like speed, I think on the single leg squats around like 20 or so. I don't have these memorized because I have the target values right in front of me, but it's around that.
Okay.
And you have that stuff.
That's all in the report.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah,
And
you
it's
don't have
all
to
in the
memorize any of that. I know we were like, why don't we just put this on here? Like ding ding ding.
Right, then we're gonna have to memorize. Good. Single leg hop on the left. In standing position on the left, your left knee straight, your right knee bent with the foot behind you. Hop straight up as high as you can and control the landing. Repeat 10 times. Wait for me to say it. Don't let your other foot touch the ground. I kind of ad-libbed at the end.
Perfect.
Go. 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 Good and relax.
Nice.
Thank you. A nice was to you. You jumped well.
It's for everyone in the room. Compliments all around.
Yeah.
Great
So
capture.
even though I thought they looked better on this, their score still was terrible.
Yeah, that's why I love the sensors, right? Because it like captures the things that we can't see. But your capture, the whole point of that is capture's great. It's exactly what you want. You're really getting the hang of it. Save and continue.
All right, foot hop. Chin you hop there, don't let your other foot hit the ground. Starting to really ad-lib these instructions.
Yep, and then left first, then right.
Don't do that yet. I gotta press the button. 5. Forward. Back. Outside. Inside. Forward. Back. Outside. Inside. You're good.
Nice. So now you're kind of understanding like the flow of it. It's nice and easy without me talking, all that good stuff. How are you feeling like this system versus the movement suite? Easier to use, harder?
It's not bad to use. I do miss my space bar, to be 100% honest.
Yeah.
But overall, like giving this at the individual, and I can like quick glance at it and see
So you like
how they were doing.
Yeah.
I like a lot.
Okay, good deal.
Knee, left leg in front, 90-90 at your foot and ankle. Bring your ankle back a little bit. Beautiful. Don't let your heel come off the ground. Go. Like this. I can't figure out which way I need to go. There we go. There you are. Relax. Okay. Again, back multiple backwards mirrors that I can't figure out. I'm in a mirror house and I can't find my way out. Relax. Go. Elbow straight into it. Relax.
Awesome.
You're not done.
Okay, so now we're gonna go through the acceleration deceleration test.
Oh, you're not done.
So if you guys want to.
Oh yeah, she'll do it. She'll be fine.
Okay. So for this one, I'm just going to kind of tell you what you need to know. It's very similar to the movement suite one. However, you just have to be within like 5-ish yards, 5 to 10-ish yards with the Bluetooth signals.
Okay.
So like if you're setting up like a 10-yard sprint, you're going to stand in the middle of it.
Okay.
Okay, so you're going to press the start button, wait for it to turn to stop. You'll cue her to sprint. She sprints, comes to a complete stop, holds that for a second, turns around, walks back, and then repeats that 2 more times. So for 3 sprints total, once she's finished with that 3rd sprint, you'll press stop.
Okay.
Okay. I would say also like if her sensor like fell off during the assessment, I would definitely make sure that it's like sticking on to her because you don't want them to fly off during this. Dang, your clinic's awesome.
Yeah, we have turf that has yard markers on it,
Oh
so I
my
have 10
gosh.
yards.
That's awesome.
I'll tell you around via computer in a minute.
Yeah, beautiful.
Here and there down here.
I remember at Flex, Brittany, I just was like, give me 1 strip of turf, even if it's like a golf. Like I just want 1 strip of turf. Now all clinics are turning into that.
Apparently ours is supposed to get the facelift.
She slows down.
Say that again?
Does she stop at 10 yards or is that when she slows down?
Stops at 10 yards. So like I'll say sprint, stop before you get to the line. So you give like the athlete a goal.
Okay, so the line is where she needs to be still.
Yep. So yeah, she'll start behind the line, sprint, stop before you get to the line. And I just do that because I think athletes like goals. But if she
Right.
goes past the line, that's fine. She just has to come to a complete stop. That's the biggest thing.
Okay.
That yours is supposed to get a facelift. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. They keep telling us that, but
Yeah. And she has to come to that complete stop, pause for a second, then turn around, walk back slowly. That was better.
I'm down. Nope.
Awesome. Okay, so once you've completed that, does it say like finish and save, or go to the green button, maybe save and back to screen?
Yeah, it's at this.
Awesome. Nice. So go to the green button, save and back to screen.
Save back to screen.
And then is there a box that pops up?
Yep.
Yep, go ahead and click that. And then off to the left, there's going to be a finish and save button, or it may pop up like finish and save since you've completed the entire assessment.
Finish and save on the bottom. Yes, I want to finish and save.
Perfect.
If I click the no edit session, what does that do?
It just brings you back to the screen, so you're able to go back into the exercises, and if you want to edit anything, you like redo, basically. They'll
Okay.
put the person through like an assessment again.
Okay. Cool.
They're hard. It's a hard test. So now at the bottom, is it like, yeah, continue? So you'll always want to make sure you're syncing. So then sync all. Perfect. And so then this will go to the portal. So then you'll have access to the portal. So I'll send you guys the portal link, and then on my tips and tricks video, it has how to access the portal, like how to navigate it.
Okay. Everything, like this is just
No.
part of it.
That's it. Like the syncing part, like you just sync it, it goes to the portal, it's saved. Isn't that nice?
It's fun. The first time I'd open it to do an AMI or whatever, I'd be like, oh, I haven't synced it. I need to go sync it. And I need
I
to
know.
check for Windows updates. And
Nope, you don't have to do any of that anymore.
that's nice.
Okay, what's your screen? I just see a blank screen. Is there a button on it or anything?
No, it still says uploading. We're at 0%.
And that's probably because of your internet connection if you're not connected anymore on the internet.
It should be still.
Okay. And it might just be like you guys are on the hotspot. I'm actually sending an email to Lauren Step right now. Because I know she
I'm actually not on the hotspot anymore. I got rid of it after hours. Signed in.
okay.
So I don't know.
It's blocking it maybe. So you'll want to make sure that you sync it at some point. If it doesn't sync all the way through here, you have it saved locally. So meaning, okay. So just a heads up. So if you save it locally and you don't sync it and you have to uninstall and reinstall the app for any reason, it's going to delete everything locally off the iPad. Okay. So like your videos, you need to make sure you go through and upload whatever videos you want. There's going to be a button and I'll show you that.
Okay.
But then also any of the reports. So you want to make sure you sync all the time. Perfect. Go into subject. Click on her name. Press view. Assessment at the top. Complete AMI.
And we can view it.
Yeah, and I would do let me see the screen again. Sorry.
You're good.
Go share and print. I'm gonna have you share it with me and I'll pull it up on my side and we'll share the screen.
Okay, so it brought it to this.
So top right, there's gonna be a box. It's gonna check mark all of those. It's gonna toggle all those on. Then you're just gonna scroll down. Or I'm sorry, at the very top, I'm gonna send you my email in the chat. I'll have you email it to me and I'll pull it up on my side of things.
So
Yeah.
there we go.
And then you should have a box or like something at the top with an email.
Oh yes. And that doesn't look right.
And PDF. So handy.
Good deal. So before you guys, so you sent it to me?
Yes.
Okay. So you have two versions. So you have like the iPad version where you're able to see all the data tracings and play back the video. So we're actually going to go into that. So if you go into our subject, you press complete, you press view,
View.
click assessment at the top, and then click complete AMI. Okay, perfect. So that's your like iPad view. So you're gonna
Okay.
click on like the see more at the second see more. So like below the LSI and the loss of balance one.
Gotcha.
That's gonna bring you to
Okay.
the LSI page. Yep. And then in the bottom right screen, you're gonna press the green button, continue.
Got it.
Should bring you to a
Report.
detailed page. Yep. So the detailed page, then you're going to press, there should be like a detailed button, like go to a single leg squat. Yeah, just go to the single leg squat maybe.
Okay.
Okay, so you're able to see, like, if you scroll down, you're able to see all the data tracings. And then there should also be like a video. You'll press play on those.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to show you the rep.
So now she's sideways.
Yeah, so when I do this, now she is sideways.
Yeah, that's just because that's how it was captured in the video. I put a request in for my tech team on that. So then you're just gonna click out of that and like click onto the screen. You see the upload button.
A cancel up at the top.
Scroll back down, back into the video.
Oh yes.
I see upload.
Upload. So that's where you're going to upload it into the cloud. Perfect. So if you want to save any of those reps, you're going to want to press upload and that'll go into the cloud, or it'll go into the portal. Then you'll be able to access it to the portal. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen now so you guys can kind of, we have time, so let's review the report. Do you guys have any questions on the actual system?
No, I don't think so.
Feel good about it?
Yeah.
It's very similar to the other one in terms of actually doing it.
Mhm.
Just the space bar is the only thing I got to remember to like click start stop. And then I think, I don't know, I haven't decided 100%, but I might get one of those spaces that has like the thing that I can just slide my hand in.
Oh,
So I
that'd be
can
good.
just be free-handed on that and I don't have to worry about holding.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea. So like some customers, that would be a good one, like the kickstand one, or like even people get tripods. So it's totally up to you guys. One thing I do want to mention, so like with the single leg squats and like the reps of like the double leg squats, if you start an exercise and say you're on single leg hop and they're like, my knee's really starting to hurt. If you don't finish all of those reps, it's not going to save that single leg movement. So if you get to like 5 reps and then they're like, I can't do any more 5 reps, and you just go into like, you go into the next exercise, it will not save those 5 reps.
Okay.
So just a heads up on that. Now, if you want to keep those 5 reps just to see like the individual metrics of it, what I would recommend doing is pressing start, have them bend their knee, press stop. So then at least like your overall report will be a little skewed, but at least you'll have those metrics. Does that make sense? And then you're also able to just pull open and like click into an exercise and just do that exercise. You don't have to do the complete AMI. So very similar to the movement suite. Like you just click into that exercise, do those reps, go to the left bar, press like that box with the 3 lines in it, scroll down, finish and save, and you'll get those metrics.
All right.
So if we want to do something, if we're doing a whole AMI and then we decide that we don't want to do something for whatever reason, we can just skip it.
Totally.
Okay.
Yeah, like on the bottom green button, it'll be like save and jump to.
Okay.
If you press save and jump to, it'll give you the list of exercises you can click into it.
Okay.
Any other questions?
I don't think so. I mean, until we like play with it more and do it more, I think I might come up with something. But right now, it's pretty self-explanatory. Then again, I've done this for 5 years, so
Yeah, no, you're good to go. Okay, so here's your overall report page. Can you guys see my screen here?
yep.
All right. You guys are still good for 20 minutes, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, you guys cruise through that. Okay, so for your movement score here, so movement score is 55%. She scored a 276 points out of 504. It's always however you want to relay this to your patient. Like I'll just always say, like, obviously know your patient, read the room a little bit, right? Like if you have like I don't know, I've had like 14-year-olds like cry to me because they see a 55 out of, 55.
Yeah.
So it's up to you if you want to show this overall score, if that person can handle it, or if you want to just skip to the next page. Okay, so just know this. How I focus on it, and everyone's going to be a little different, but I just focus on, hey, you scored a 55%. This is your first time doing the test. I don't expect you to be perfect. That's why we're here. We're here to grow and get better. Every time you do this assessment, I just want to see you progress towards the green. Just get better. Okay. Now, something I will say, if you do the levels, so if you do level 1, it's a lot easier for them to score higher because they're not having those challenging exercises.
Right.
So if you do a level 1, level 2, they're scoring in the green. We get to level 3, we get into like some of that single leg hopping. They're starting to drop their score. Just anticipate that.
Okay.
The limb symmetry, 89%. We're going to dive into that to figure out if 89% means you're symmetrically great or if you need work on both sides, right? She lost her balance one time on her right side. And then her AMI rating is only dropped because she's multi-sport, or I'm sorry, because she's female athlete.
Okay.
Then we're going to
Multi-sport really helps it.
multi-sport probably does help it. Yeah, we have it like, we have an article that we put all of the, there's a research article based off of like the most risky sports, the least risky sports, and that's kind of how we decided that.
Okay.
Okay. So overall limb symmetry is 89. Again, follow the colors. So if I'm just taking a quick glance at this, I'm going to be like, we really need to work our single limb bilaterally, right?
Yeah.
And then definitely the left side plank here. Okay. So you have your exercises on each side or their specific side, and then the symmetry in between. So there's definitely something going on with the left plank. And I'm going to think like left glute med, because then we're looking at all of this. So when I focus on the side plank, the most active muscle is a glute med, right? Secondary, I would say, is like obliques. So I'm going to kind of keep this in the back of my head when I'm looking at the pelvis metrics. Okay. And then we just really need to work on both sides and single limb. Questions, comments?
No.
Okay. Okay. So again, knowing your patient, reading the room, like if you need to pull out some of the green just to build them back up, do that. If it's an athlete that maybe you need to humble, or they have, they're able to handle the red and all the critique, dive into that for sure. Okay, so how this is going to work here. So here's the front plank. You put them in that perfect position. If they deviate outside of 8 degrees for longer than 2 seconds, it will knock them a point. If they deviate outside of 8 degrees for less than 2 seconds and recorrect back into that starting position, it will not knock them a point.
Okay.
If they deviate outside of 8 degrees in the very beginning and never recorrect, it will continue to knock points. So some of like the fastest athletes who come in with low back pain, hamstring strains, like I've seen them test 5 out of 30. That's normal because they can't hold that plank position. Okay. Now, if you see someone like slip, you can redo that rep. Okay. So how we're looking at that, they went into greater than 8 degrees in the sagittal plane. We see a max deviation of 9 degrees. Negative means extension. So she just went into 9 degrees. She lasted longer than 2 seconds for that. So that's where she docked a point here.
Okay.
Rotation was only 3 degrees, so she was less than the 8 degrees. Period that she held it, 60 seconds, 29 out of 30, great score. Okay, so the double leg squat, we're picking up flexion extension. She's starting an extension, so there's no reason why we should see any of these numbers be negative, right? Because every time she goes into a squat, she's going into flexion from her standing position of the calibration. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so what we're looking at is less than 30. So I really just see one outlier. So I think I saw 50. Wait, did I see it? Yeah, 57 on
Yeah.
number 13. Okay, so she's maintaining a really nice flat back position. The way that our sensors pick up flexion is in 3 different ways. If they're going too deep in their squat, so past parallel, it's going to pick up a lot of flexion. Okay, so that's the way that we standardize this test. If you see an athlete going past parallel, I would just cue them out of it. Now, if you have any power lifters or CrossFitters and they really go their booty to their heels, if you want to see what that looks like, then just know that their flexion may be a little bit higher and then just focus on the lateral shift, right? It's kind of like we're giving you the data. What do you want to see here? The other 2 ways that we pick up flexion is if they're actually coming over top, like their chest over top of their hips, flexing too far forward, or if they're doing a pelvic wink, so the pelvis tilting underneath them. Okay. Any questions on the flexion piece?
No.
All right, then the shift. So all the negative numbers mean they're shifting off to the left side. All the positive numbers mean shifting off to the right side. Okay, we want this less than 7 degrees. We know that they're going to shift left and right. Okay, but we want to really maintain that within less than 7. So they're maintaining a nice hips in between the heels. Okay, if it's shifting off to one way, so if you're seeing positive trend, you'll see like a amber score or red score where it's shifted over this way. Okay, and then same thing to the left. So left means negative, right means positive. Questions here at all?
Yeah.
Okay, same concept in the side planks. Let's look at her left side plank, what happened. So she went into max deviation of 14 degrees and then also outside of that 8 degrees. So just 0.09, but that definitely knocks her a point. So she definitely was one who deviated at the beginning and then never recorrected.
Okay.
Or she kept deviating and recorrecting. That's where you can look at like the data tracings to really, if you really wanted to dive deep into that. Okay. All right, single limb. So limb quality score 16 out of 60. So that's where you're going to see a high Q angle in that picture with a large amount of valgus. Okay, remember in the first slide I set or showed you, it was like a green, so straight up, straight back down.
Yeah.
Now the first thing I like to look at is tibial inclination always, because my thought is I want to make sure that you're getting to the range that we need you to, or the depth. Because to me, from a rehab perspective, I always want to work on mobility first, range of motion, right? Depth of squat, and then I'll control you. But that's just the way that I think. Not everyone's that way. So our target value here, we want this greater than 31 degrees. So she hits that, she squats down. She's allowing her to be to translate over top of her ankle, 34 degrees. I scroll over to the left. So the valgus number is always going to be negative. Positive number is going to be varus. Okay. So she averages 10 degrees of valgus. So it's outside of that 8 degrees. I like to look here. She's going into valgus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times. Okay. So pretty much every time she's going into valgus. Now, something to make note of is you're always going to see the average of valgus, even if they go through 2 reps of valgus. Okay, so just kind of make sure that you're noticing that, like, okay, you've hit, 10 degrees of valgus, but you really only went into it twice, and the majority of the time you're in varus. So that's kind of like up to you guys from your own clinical knowledge. How do I want to handle that? Okay. All right, the pelvis piece. So she's going into valgus. She's 15 degrees outside of her pelvic lateral tilt. Remember, this is always going to be a positive number. So I'm standing on my right leg. I need to find the trend. So I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 into negative. Do you guys remember if negative means left or right?
Yeah. Negative left.
Negative's
Yeah.
left. Exactly. So she's standing on her right leg. I see a trend of negative. So is that Trendelenburg or retro Trendelenburg?
She's probably her left hip.
Yeah.
Cinderella.
Cinderella, yeah.
So she's
Perfect.
dropping her hip.
Exactly. So she's losing her right glute med. She's going into Trendelenburg because she's losing her left hip. Okay. Or yeah, right hip, sorry. What was the side plank that she did? Left side. Okay. Exactly. You got that. Valgus and varus speed. So remember, this is speed in the frontal plane. So this is why she's scoring low, because her average is 52.14 degrees per second. So the control or stability, I like to say, she's lacking that, right, in the frontal plane. So valgus to varus speed, we want that low. Okay. Questions, comments, feedback at all?
Just taking notes and writing like the wind.
Riding like the wind.
What'd you say?
I said I'm just taking notes of things and writing like the wind.
And I'll send you this recording.
Perfect. Good, because I'm for sure not catching all of it writing, but like last time I made a cheat sheet of her fiance was our test subject whenever we got it Dorsey for this, and I made a cheat sheet of like how Zach did compared to like the normal, and then made sure that I remembered how to say everything the right way.
Yeah, and this is just how I interpret it. We're giving you guys the data. You interpret it however it means the most to you, right?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, usually when I get to this page of the old AMI, I would scroll all the way down to the bottom and look at their ability of tibial inclination before I look at anything else, because I want to know
Yeah.
left versus right, no matter what side it is, what they can get to, and then we go look at, you know, their squat, their jump and stuff, and see what they're actually getting.
So you're saying you look at the ankle lunge first?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I
Because
love
this
that.
would tell me what they, their ability to move, and then I'll go back up to everything else and see, you know, yes, you control it, yes, you can do that, but you're still lacking, you know,
Right.
whatever degrees or.
No, I love that, because then if they're not hitting that tibial inclination, like, so what do we need? Like the highest we need is 31 degrees. If they're below that 31 degrees, they're never going to be able to functionally hit that, or their heels moving up. So now I know that, okay, I need to open up their ankle a little bit more, maybe do some joint mobs. There's a mobility issue.
Yeah, so that's why I always
I
look at
love
it.
that. So you're really just teasing out, is this a mobility issue? Is it a strength issue? Is it a trust issue? That's perfect. Great. I love it. Love it. Love it. Okay, so single leg hop, these metrics are taken from the landing piece, so that second bell curve. Okay, so again, 21 giving us a red. Tibial inclination, did they jump and land with a bent knee? Yes. So she's very trained in this. Now we just have to control her, right? So the valgus average is 14 degrees. I see a lot of valgus here, so her knee's buckling in, which is why we're scoring in that 21, okay? And then also pelvic lateral tilt. So let's do this again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I see positive. So the majority is positive. So I'm standing on my right leg. Is that retro or is that Trendelenburg?
Perfect.
Correct. Totally. She's side bending. She's pulling into that QL. Cheating. Right? You ain't cheating, you ain't trying. That's what my dad always said. So.
Yeah.
Then you have valgus varus speed, so speed in the frontal plane. So does she control her knee when she jumps and lands? Not really, right? That's something that we probably need to work on. So less than 96, she's at 171. Highest is 353. Ooh, the quick movement in and out.
Yeah.
So positives here. She's jumping and landing with a bent knee. She's very trained in that. Now we just have to control her. So like maybe doing some perturbation, some box straps, maybe pulling her knee into valgus with a band, things like that. Hop to plant, hardest one.
Mm-hmm.
consistently, she does a really nice job jumping and landing. So definitely make sure you're pulling that positive out for that athlete. Average 14 degrees of valgus. Again, she's going 1, 2, 3, 4 times into valgus. So the majority of the time she's going into varus, but we still have that ability to go into 14 degrees. Max deviation 20 degrees. I like to look and see like which movements are most challenging. So remember, this is forward, backwards, outside, inside. Forward, backwards, outside, inside. So once she gets fatigued into that more dynamic motion, her numbers are going up. She's losing control here. Interesting, right? And you're able to see that too for all of these. If you want to know fatigue factor, you have that here, which is nice. You didn't have that in the other one. Pelvic lateral tilt, positive number. We see the trend, mostly positive. We're on our right leg, so that's
Side bending.
side bending. Retro, exactly. Landing mechanics as far as the speed goes, we just need to control her a little bit. And she's losing that for sure on her forward, backwards, outside, inside, forwards. That was her highest one. Okay, just looking at the left, I know we're 4 minutes on time. So real quick, does she jump and land with a bent knee? No, she's stiff legging it a little bit, right? Valgus motion, we know on the left side plank, she's gonna be losing her glute quite a bit. Okay, so that's where we're seeing that valgus. Positive number. Now we're on the left side. I see a positive trend. Is that retro or Trendelenburg?
Trendelenburg.
Nailed it. Perfect. Which makes sense for the single leg or for the side plank. I'm just curious on her hops now. 1, 2, 3, 4. Majority is positive. So the majority of the time she's also going into Trendelenburg. So it stays true with the side plank. We're not able to access that left glute med, and then it's being exposed into her dynamic movements as well. That's an interesting one.
Even pelvis.
Cool.
Yeah.
What questions do you guys have right now?
So if I'm doing multiple people and say she's peeling off her things right now, can I just peel off things, put it on a new one,
Totally.
recalibrate? I don't have to redock them.
So you'll have to go through that entire screen again of like connecting the sensors. You'll want to hit use last sensors. So using last sensors, that blue one's going to be the blue one again. The green one's going to be the green one again. Okay. If you don't hit use last sensors, then the colors may just go to different sensors.
Okay.
Makes sense? But no, you don't have to redock. Like they're charged. They'll be charged for a long time if you charge them overnight. Do you have more tests to do today?
No, I was just curious.
Yeah.
Let's see, what other questions of things that differ? You have to be hooked up to Wi-Fi. We don't have to have them pairing. Oh, do I need to click the black button to turn them off?
Nope, they'll just automatically go off eventually. I just put them in the dock just to charge again. You don't have to, but they'll go out. They'll go off once your app turns off. And then as far as like the Wi-Fi goes, you just have to be signed into Wi-Fi, or you just have to be connected to Wi-Fi to sign in. But also, if you start on Wi-Fi on the app, like during the test, and you disconnect, the sensors may disconnect from the app. Okay. So all you'll do is you'll go through, and I'll send you the tips and tricks video. I have like a whole YouTube video of that. You'll go through, like you'll click subject, you'll press view, press new test. Okay, so you have to go through that new test for that one subject. You'll connect to the sensors, so you'll go through that whole process again. The sensors are already going to be on them, okay? And then once you get into the actual testing screen, it's going to have a box that pops up like you already have a test in session. Would you like to continue with this test? You're going to press yes. If it's no, then it's going to delete what you did. But if you stop at like rep 8 on double leg squat, it should bring you back to rep 8 on double leg squat. Okay. Cool. But I'll send you that tips and tricks video just because that's a little confusing, like adding the new test. People look at the subject, they're like, it should be here. Like just test. I sent an email off to Lauren and then like some AXES people just for training, like, hey, let me know if you're able to connect to the Wi-Fi. It may be worth calling in for IT if you're not able to like log in. But then I'll also I've already put a bug into our like Jira, into our tracking for our tech guys to look at the camera settings. How do we flip that? So I'll let you know that piece too.
Okay. Yeah, and like I said, hopefully you don't have the connection issues at other clinics. Ours is always terrible. It has been since we opened. I have no idea what the problem is. It's annoying.
Yeah, that's
but nobody seems to either want to fix it or knows how to fix it. So
no, I appreciate your patience on the Wi-Fi and the tech and all that good stuff. I think you're gonna be a really good user. I think you're gonna totally get it. Kick some butt. Let us know if you need anything, okay?
Any other questions? So what if I have current ACLs that I have been testing under the old system?
Yeah.
Should I keep them under the old system just to have comparison stuff side by side, or should I move them to the new one?
It's totally up to you. My personal thought would be like, I want to see that pelvic data.
Right.
So I would probably move them over, just knowing that the overall score is going to be different. But if you don't focus on the overall score and you focus on the metrics, then it'll be worth it.
Yeah, after doing this, originally I was like, oh, I'll just finish people out on the new one. But then after seeing this, I'm like,
This is cool.
I'll probably move them to the new one.
Yeah, there's a lot more stuff to see here. So I would move them to the new one. But totally up to you.
Now, in like 2 weeks, I'm supposed to do a AMI and running.
Okay.
On a patient. Do I do the AMI on here, the running on the other one?
You have running here. Hopefully, like the goal would be to train you before that. I'm going to email Lauren to talk to her about training for the run.
Okay. How different is it?
It's just like a couple different modules. Like you have like an interval module, but as far as like actual,
yeah, I really just want to look like left versus right. Like if she's slamming down, she's not a runner. She's not,
you could probably play around with it and figure it out, honestly.
I just want to see, if she's has like a huge difference.
Totally.
But she's not trying to get back to anything. She's a senior volleyball player that tore it right before the season.
Yeah.
She just wants to know how different her left versus right is running. Compared to my actual running people, I rather go through the whole training. But if I just want to see a little bit of data.
So I would say like the cool thing, so there's like an interval piece to it. So if you click an interval, you'll be able to do up to 15 minutes of a run. Each 60 seconds, it's going to pull up live data on your screen of GRF, IPA, and then contact time. So you're able to give them live cues. The main one is going to be like the start and stop. So like probably what you're more used to. Okay. Minimum of 1 minute, and then maximum of 15 minutes essentially for the entire run. With the run, you can't update. You cannot update to like the video to the cloud or to the portal. It's just going to be saved locally.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Cool.
Yeah, I'll play around with it probably in the next week. And if I have any questions just on, like I said, she just wants to run for like 30 seconds to a minute and see how she does.
Okay. Yeah.
So nothing, not setting any land speeds, or we're not marathon training or anything. She just is curious.
And those assessments, except for acceleration, deceleration, are all treadmill based.
Yep.
Cool.
Perfect.
All right. Okay. Nice work.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. You have a good one.
Absolutely. You too.
All right. Bye, Jodi.